This is the Tony Saragusa and Jason Cameron podcast. Here's Jason and Goose. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna call him. Fuck it.
You call him Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, let's just call him. We were talking about Bert Kreischer and what a great show that was. You know, and he's got his own podcast.
Does he?
Yeah, but I'm like, you know what? Listen, I talked.
What's it called? What's it called?
I don't know. What is it called? I feel bad now. I brought it up. I don't know what it's called. Maybe he didn't title it yet. Who knows?
Soprano.
Bert the non-conqueror.
Bert the bitch.
Bert the bitch. Bert the bear. No, he calls himself the machine. I think it's Bert the Machine. Remember, he used to call himself the Machine. He's got a whole story behind why he was called
the Machine.
The Machine. Yeah.
You know, it's pretty bad when somebody gives themselves their own friggin' nickname. Yeah, you know,
there's a whole story behind it, though. There is a story behind it. He went to Russia, and then the Russians called him the Machine, and it was a whole. He told the story. I don't know if you weren't paying attention when he told the story. You lost interest.
I left.
But we should just call. Let's just call him. If he picks up, he picks up, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Because he's got some funny stories.
What's his number? Give everybody his number.
So
they can just crank him.
Is it just pushing a button?
I'm just going to call right now.
Give it to me.
Well, there you go. You just hit the call button. So this is our first official phone call that we're calling somebody. If you pick up, great. If not, then oh well.
Bert the Conqueror.
Bert the Conqueror. Such as that's why I have. Is that how I have it listed? That's how I have it listed.
You got to change it to the machine.
To the machine. Yeah. But I just remember on the roller coaster you came up because you were annoyed by his lip flapping in the wind on the roller coaster. You're watching him on the monitor, and you literally wrapped duct tape
around his head.
And I'm watching you do this, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, you're gonna rip his hair right out of his head.
Get my Adderall.
Get your Adderall.
Hello.
Yo.
Hello.
Is this the machine?
Hello.
Is this the machine? Did he hang up? Did he hang up?
Yeah, he hung up.
Do I not know what I'm doing?
Did you call from your phone?
Bert just hung up.
Wait. I probably didn't have the pot up.
Great, Jace.
Way to go, Stu.
Hello.
Hello, is this Bert? Hey, Bert. What's up, man?
Hello.
Bert, can you hear me?
What the fuck, Jace? You're fired. Okay, that's it. That's podcast number 2. We really appreciate you guys listening for 6 seconds.
There we go. Great job on our first phone call.
Yeah, we were crank calling celebrities.
Bert's still working things out over there on the technical side.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, at least he picked up.
It's working.
Right, Stu? At least he picked up, so we know he's we know he's available.
Call Bert from my phone.
Do you need his number, Stu?
Yes.
All right, hold on. Hopefully he
Give
picks
me
up.
Bert Kreischer's phone number.
Yeah,
I won't call him personally. Some of this can be used because it's funny making calls and fucking.
What do you mean? You mean us fucking the whole thing up? I think this is good TV or radio.
He's not going to know the number.
I slept in the same trailer with you, dude, and in Kuwait. That was bad enough.
Sweating.
Oh, man, the whole thing was shaking. You were snoring the whole time. Literally, like shaking.
He doesn't know your number.
Literally shaking the trailer.
Hey, this is Bert Kreischer. I'm out of the country. Leave a message.
He's in Russia. He's in Russia.
Can you text him?
Listen,
text him. Tell him we're calling him.
I'm gonna text him.
Leave him a message. He can't read. You think he can read?
He tweets.
Yeah, he tweets. He's a tweeter. Send him a text.
Yeah,
listen,
okay.
It's Goose. We want to call you. We're having some technical issues.
Bert, it's Jason and Goose. We're doing a podcast. Answer the fucking phone.
So you sent them. That's great.
Yep. We're getting a call. Hello.
Hey, it's Bert.
Bert, what's up, buddy? It's Jason and Goose.
What are you guys doing? You guys doing a podcast?
Hey,
yeah, we're doing a podcast.
Let me ask you a question. How come you're like sound like a baritone now or a bass, and then when we did this show, you sound like a soprano? What? Hey, this is Bert. How you doing, man? What's up with that?
I can't even hear you guys. I love that you're doing a podcast.
Are you saying you can't hear us, Bert?
I can't hear you guys at all.
See, this is Stu. You know, Bert, just so you know, Jason Stu, who edited our show, is now doing our podcast, and he's smiling over it. I think he had all the kinks worked out.
He has no clue what the fuck he's doing, Bert. Yeah. None.
Give the phone to Jason, have him hold me by the microphone, and get me closer to those guys.
Okay, so let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do that. I love how Bert's got to explain to us how to do the podcast now.
Hey, you want to run our podcast for us?
I'm glad we called him.
All right, here we go.
You there, Jason?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. Can you hear us now?
Now I can hear you much better. Yeah.
Well, dude, we did listen. Let me ask you this, Bert, because we've been reminiscing about man caves. One of the reasons we wanted to call you is because you're a man cave recipient, and yours was one of the best ones, I think, right, Goose? That we did.
Absolutely.
Right.
Taping your head shut was so exhilarating.
I got fired from Travel Channel the day after I got my man cave. Well, you know, picking up Bert Conqueror, and I was like, in my head, I was like, that sucks. I was about to jump off that bridge. I was like, maybe I don't have to jump off the bridge. And then I got the man cave. I flew out to New York. I did Letterman. I flew back to L.A., was in my man cave with a cup of coffee, knowing that my series had been canceled, and I was like, you know what? This man cave makes it all good. I'm cool.
Yeah, don't worry about travel.
Whoa, hold on a second. I'm taking this in. So the day after we did the man cave, that was it for you on your show?
Yeah. While we were filming you guys building my man cave, I got a call in my bedroom saying they weren't picking up the series. And I ended up doing like 6 more years on the network, but they canceled my show while you were building my man cave. I knew it was over, but I was like, man, I got in right at the buzzer. I got this man cave. Screw them.
Dude, that's awesome that you got the man cave.
That's
there.
tremendous.
That's oh, yeah. It's the best. And I one day, when we can be totally honest, we'll break down how I got the good man cave because someone wasn't being cool with the production, and I got all the goodies.
There you go.
And that's what we're talking about.
Milk them.
Hey, Bert, I got to ask you, man, because Goose and I were laughing a little bit when we were trying to get you about because I said they call you the Machine, and Goose was like, "What do you mean they call him the Machine?" I'm like, "Listen, there's a whole story behind why they call Bert the Machine. It's a funny story, but the one that I love the most is when you told the story about the bear, right? When they took you out to this bear trainer, and they were going to put you in the cage with the bear. You remember telling us that?
Oh yeah,
Good.
I remember I hadn't even told it on stage yet, and we were sitting out on my porch, and I was like, "Oh, I got to tell you about the time I fought a bear," and it was just, dude, it was all of us. It was all the construction. It was all like just bullshitting, and then I was like, "Yeah, I fought a bear." I used to have a show where I took dangerous jobs, and they were like, "One day you're gonna fight a bear." I was like, "What day is that?" And they're like, "Thursday." And then our safe word was marshmallow. And I remember, and I've never been able to tell it this way ever again, but I remember going, the bear grabs me, spins me doggy style, starts humping my ass, and I'm going, marshmallow, marshmallow, marshmallow. But the way I said it that day was you know when you tell a story for the first time, and everyone like, that's hilarious. The way I said it that day, I've never been able to recreate. And then the bear...
Dude, we were all pissing our pants that day, dude.
That was great.
When you told us about the safety word and it was marshmallow, I'm like, first of all, why is marshmallow the safety word? And then from your description, Bert, correct me if I'm wrong, you were not even visible when the bear was on top of you, right?
Oh, dude, the bear had his way with me.
And it wasn't responding to marshmallow.
No, it wasn't responding
right?
to.
And then he sat on my face and put his balls in my mouth. I remember waking up.
Is that when Travel Channel called you and said, "Listen, we're not going to have you anymore"?
That's when it was all over.
I remember waking up from that and going to my producer, going, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, he got raped and teabagged by a bear." Other than that, I'd get tested if I were you.
By the way, you have a couple pubes in your teeth. You want to maybe floss those out. Bear pubes.
Oh, dude.
How long have you guys been doing your podcast?
This is it, dude.
7 minutes.
Can't you tell by the way we've been trying to reach you and we can't even get a phone call in?
How big were the bear's balls?
Well, it's interesting. They were really tight until they got into my mouth, and then they loosened up.
Really?
And filled up my jaw.
Were they like the size of like a marble? Were they the size of like a
softball,
a small potato, or bigger?
I'll say duck eggs.
Duck eggs.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty big. That's a big set.
All right, but to get serious again, Bert, listen. Those of you those listening right now that don't know, your man cave was awesome, and I know you still use it to this day, right? Do you do your podcast from there?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, it changed my life because I started doing a podcast out of there, and my podcast now is probably. Look, I'll be candid between you guys. Because and your listeners, I make more money on my podcast than I ever made at Travel Channel.
Really?
That's awesome.
My podcast is the biggest thing I've ever done in my entire career. The reason I'm selling out every show across the country is my podcast. And if I didn't have every time, if you listen to my podcast, every episode starts with the same thing. Someone going, "This is amazing. How did you do this?" And I always say the same thing. I was like, "Man, I got very lucky." Jason Cameron and Goose came in, and they pimped it out. And I told the Adam Richman story, too, to a lot of people. But I was like, and I go, this wood is 100 years old out of Indiana. It's Gene Hackman's wood.
It's a little soft, his
It
wood.
it got a little soft over the years.
Yeah, it's a little soft. It gets softer as he gets older.
Bert, I remember. Listen, Bert, those who know you know this about you, but your voice, probably uncontrollable to you, goes up like 15 octaves. So when we were building the man cave, and those of you who've never seen the man cave, they got to watch this episode because Bert's carrying a beam into his. These are real beams; these aren't fake beams, and Bert's carrying it on his shoulder. And we get it into the room, and I'm walking up the ladder, and all I can hear all of a sudden is somebody go, "I'm the fulcrum! I'm the fulcrum!" I'm like, "Fulcrum!" I turn around, I'm the fulcrum! I turn around, and it's Bert. He's screaming like a 3-year-old.
We put those 2 beams up, and you guys have about 4. And you were like, we'll put 4 up. And then you got in there, and you're like, 4 is too many. We're just going to put 2 up. And I remember you saying, Bert, these are really expensive. They're mortise and tenon beams. They're like 150 years old.
No, those were 300 years old. Those were 300 years old, by the way.
They're like, do not throw them out.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what do I do with them? He goes, put them in your driveway. Just hold on to them. It's a lot of money. You can't throw them out.
Yeah.
We held on to these damn beams for 4 years, and then we redo our house, and our builder sees these beams. He goes, these would be gorgeous in your dining room. So we have 2 of those beams in our dining room, and then we have 2 in our man cave, and it ties the house together. Thank God you pulled me aside. I would have cut them up and burned them for firewood. That man cave, man, it's the greatest. I say it's better than the birth of my second child. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
You made a comment to me, Bert, because when I was there with you, after it was all done and we showed you the man cave, and you were just overwhelmed, and you said, this is the best thing that's ever happened. I'm like, well, not outside of your wife and your kids. And you're like, no, this is the best thing that's ever happened.
I'm just pissed that Cato never made the show.
Yeah. I remember seeing Cato, and I was like, I remember grabbing my wife going, Cato, Kalen's here. She's like, what? And I was like, he looks fantastic.
He looks better now than he did then, right?
Yeah. He does not age. He is he's like plastic. He looks amazing. I remember, and everyone's like, you should go out and party with Goose in his trailer. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be a bother. No, that's one of the things I really regret.
Yeah, I don't know why you never came in. Why was that? Were you intimidated? What was the problem?
I just started television. I didn't know I could just push my way in and be like, hey, pack me a fat one. Kato, what's up? Did he kill her?
Yeah, Cato's back in the. I mean, he's getting so many interviews now that OJ's out on the streets now, huh?
Yeah. Well, for now,
Oh, yeah.
we'll see if he can stay that way.
Yeah, at least this week.
That's who you got to add to your entourage, Goose, is OJ.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
That would work good. Listen, that would be an awesome deal with all the sponsors. They would really like that stuff. Maybe we can get a gun. Maybe we can get a gun sponsor out of that.
So, Bert, let me ask you this, Bert, because you know who you were the first person I called when Goose and I initially started talking about doing a podcast. I'm like, I'm going to call Bert because you were into it and you were doing it. And you said, Jason, you got to do a podcast. And I just remember you specifically saying that to me. And I'm like, and that was really what got me to keep on Goose about doing the podcast. And that's why we're finally here. So that's why you were our first call. Not only you were a Man Cave recipient and we had a blast, but you were the guy who was like, you got to do a podcast.
Dude, it changes everything about you. You'll find that, like, the more you do it, the more your conversation with your fans and your audience changes, and the way you talk on stage and on TV changes, and you'll find a real deep connection with people who, like, go, hey, man, you changed my life. Like I do Rogan's podcast a lot. That's probably the biggest podcast in the world right now.
Yeah.
And I did a weight loss challenge on Rogan's. It changed my life. I lost 40 pounds. But more importantly, kids come up to me all the time. They're like, dude, I got a weight loss challenge with my buddy. We lost weight. It really does. It's like I always say, like, those people on Twitter who are good at Twitter who could, like, write a joke in 150 characters. That's great for them. I need to tell you a story, and that is who you guys are. I need to tell you a story and tell you about me and about whatever crazy things go on in my life, and that's what a podcast is. It's like a voicemail for all your fans. Yeah. This is the greatest thing you guys have ever started. You will find that this will change your life more than anything. You let me know, and I'm not even joking. I will fly out to you guys to do a live podcast where we can drink some booze and get loose, do like a solid 3-hour podcast. That I'm telling you, I'm so happy you guys did.
Hey, Bert, if you can get Goose to do a 3-hour podcast, man,
no fucking way.
That would be an amazing. That would be amazing.
I got about an hour and 10 in me, but right now. Listen, I need about 4 more Adderall.
Couple shots of brandy. Yeah. Hey, Bert, I'll tell you this though: if you do come out, I'm just about done with my man cave. Finally, after how many man caves, Goose, have we done? I don't know.
167.
No,
like that.
Probably more. But I'm finally building mine, Bert. Just so you know, and I'm putting a gym in my basement. So you and I will.
Maybe we'll do that.
Because listen, I don't know if you've been watching Bert's transformation, but every time he's always got his shirt off. Bert, that's your thing, right? You're always you're shirtless. You're just shirtless all the time.
I'm always shirtless.
Do you ever wear a shirt, or do you only wear it at home?
I'm wearing one right now. I'm
Okay.
going to a Mexican restaurant. I'm wearing one right now. This is what athletes look like, Goose, before steroids.
Yeah, I remember that.
In 1920s, you would have seen me and you're like, wow, that's a shot putter.
Well, listen, I know that's why the guy gave maybe, when you were wrestling the bear and they said, your safe word, and the guy must have looked at you and said marshmallow, but that really wasn't the safe word. That was what he was explaining that you look like. A marshmallow.
He was having an inner dialogue within himself, and I was like, what's the safe word? He just looked at my chest and went, marshmallow.
I'll tell you what, Bert, if you went back to him now, though, he changes too.
Yeah, steel.
You know what I mean?
The safe word is steel.
Iron Man. Dude, this is awesome.
So
man.
me and Jace are gonna, you know what, you losing the weight and stuff like that. I think that I'm like optimal weight right now, but maybe I'll start doing like a sit up or something like that. Every podcast I'll do like 3 sit ups, and we'll see if there's a transformation of me, Jason training me or something like that. What do you think about that?
Listen. It's all about integration. I have a connection over at Beachbody. Let me get you guys together with Beachbody. They buy sponsorships. You guys do reads. Let me tell you something. Please let me be your shepherd in this journey of podcasting.
Done.
Because you will find you don't pay agents, you don't pay managers, you don't pay lawyers, you don't pay anyone. It's a done deal. That's your money. And if you make $5,000 on a podcast read, that is $5,000 that goes into your pockets. It doesn't get split up. You're going to love what you just started.
Listen, dude, I agree with you 100%. And one of the reasons Goose and I wanted to do it, probably like you initially, was that you just wanted to get out there and you wanted to speak to people and say what you wanted to say, right? But the upside is, you're right, it can be a business and a very beneficial one, right? You can make some money at it.
Yeah. I got exhausted. I mean, nothing against Travel Channel. They were a great home. I love scripts.
Yeah, of course.
I've had a great run of scripts. But I just get exhausted with people telling me what I could and couldn't say.
Oh,
and I just want to say what I want to say.
Been there.
And just do what I want to do, like I do on stand-up.
Yeah.
And Travel Channel or Scripts just got sold to Discovery, and I talked to the people over Discovery the other day. They were like, "Hey, we want you to, come back to Travel. When the deal gets closed, we're gonna, reassess things." And I was like, "I don't know if you can pay me that much, because I love where I'm at now, where I just go, this is who I am."
Well, it's Bert. You know what? It's
no
funny
apologies.
because you're no apologies. That's funny. He said
know.
that. We were going to call our show "No Apologies," but somebody already took it. So Bert, just so you know, we've got it out there now that we're asking people to title our show. So we haven't titled it yet. We're trying to figure that out. But if you come
Could
up
be
with
marshmallows in the running.
could be marshmallow. Could be. But Bert, just so you know, I'm the same way. I love scripts. I mean, I've been there since.
Stop ass kissing, dude.
I'm not going to ass kiss. I'm being serious.
Bert, you got him ass kissing.
I'm a little bit. Maybe I am. But since 06, right? I've been with Scripts and DIY Network. Listen, I can't complain. It's been an amazing run, and I'm still Bert, I'm still doing it. But at the same time, you condition yourself, Bert, to not swear, right? Because you're on a channel where you can't swear, right? So you condition yourself. And I'm sitting here with Goose saying, "Shit." And oh my God, I just said shit, and I can say fuck. I can say it. I can say
whatever you want.
Say whatever I want, which is kind of liberating, right?
Yeah, it's free it up, Jason. Try saying the N-word. See what happens.
Yeah, that'll work.
Now, to a point. I mean, listen, you got to draw the line somewhere. Yeah.
Really loosen it up, Jason.
No, we.
Go put a Robert E. Lee statue in your front yard. Let's see what happens.
But no, it is though, and like you said, you love it though, right, Bert? I mean, you've been loving it since you've been doing it.
Man, it's my big thing was smoking pot. Like I had a hard time. I smoke pot, and I always have. But Scripts isn't like they didn't want me to smoke. Like they don't want you smoking pot.
Whoa! That was that in your contract? You can't smoke pot? What happened?
Dude, I almost did a gay porn, and I found out from Scripts you're not allowed to do gay porn.
So no pot, no gay porn. What's left?
Man,
No pot, no gay
What's
porn.
left?
They're really shutting you down, dude.
And you had to wear a shirt, Bert. And you had to wear a shirt.
Yeah, these are like spinsters, and so, but I used to do Rogan, and the agreement that that we all have is that the pot would move around the room, and when it got to me, they just put the cameras off me, and it was understood. And Rogan was still like, "Dude, be your own man. If you're 44 years old, 43 years old, if you're gonna smoke pot, smoke pot. Don't hide from it.
Own it.
I respect that as Scripts. I understand that they don't want that as that being out there. dude, when I got out of that contract, I remember smoking pot on Rogan, and they moved the cameras. I was like, put the camera back on me. I am blowing this joint through.
All right, so Bert, if you can nail it down for us, your best advice to us right now. This is our first podcast, and I'm glad we got you on. I'm glad we worked out the kinks.
Second podcast.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Second podcast.
We did one earlier.
We did one earlier. But this is our first interview, if you will, officially. So what is the best advice you can give us moving forward? Because Goose and I, we're sitting there looking at each other like, we want to do this, but,
My dog is taking a big shit right now in the backyard.
It is a big one, too.
It's
a big, yeah. Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Wow. You should see it.
Call somebody to get it cleaned.
In my opinion, it's almost like it's almost like a relationship with the fans. So you listen to your listeners, but listen to them via the numbers, like based on what people follow. So for like my podcast, for a long time, I just did these hacky Mark Maron, Joe Rogan-esque interviews with comics, and I remember one time. Bert and Rogan were like, dude, I could listen to you just get drunk for 2 hours and just rant. I'd listen to that. And I didn't listen to it until very recently. I was like, what if I just bring on comics and do what I really do in the man cave, which is drink some Tito's, smoke a cigar, and just bullshit. And so I started doing that. And the second I started doing that, my numbers skyrocketed. They went from 100,000 to 700, and I was like. This is what I do. So now I do it every Monday night at 8:30. I release them on Wednesday, but at 8:30 I record them. I bring in a couple comics, maybe one comic. We get loose and we just talk shit for 3 hours. But like whatever, and that's all based on fans going, dude, I drive a forklift. You literally got me to lunch. Like I started my job. I listened to your podcast for 3.5 hours. I got to lunch, and I heard that, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really cool gift to give somebody." So listen to your fans. What they find that this relationship you have isn't salty. They are appreciative for the free content, and they'll be genuinely constructive. And so listen to your fans, but ultimately it's your vehicle. Do whatever you guys want to do.
How about this? Go ahead.
I cannot wait to get out to you guys and do a live podcast where I sit down with you guys. I'm telling you, please come out to LA and do my podcast.
You know what, Bert, Goose,
Bert,
yeah. Goose and I, listen, when we left the man cave, what did we tell you? That we have an open invitation anytime we want to come back to this.
Yeah, we got a place to sleep. We're sleeping at your place.
Right. So that would be ideal. We come back to the man cave we built all of us built and do the podcast. So that would be incredible.
How about this? I just came up with this.
Just now?
Italian roulette. It's called Italian roulette. And we put all different kinds of opioids and different drugs like in a spin thing. And we spin it around. And then our guest gets to go and spin it. And whatever it lands on, he has to take 2 of them with a shot of Jack Daniels. And we just do the podcast and see what happens to him.
I like this idea. I like where we're going with this.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think this is original.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, come out and do my podcast, and your numbers will quadruple. I promise you.
I'm in, dude. I'm in, because I do want to see what you did with the place. You know what I mean? If you change it up at all.
I would love to have you out. I would love to.
Bert, listen, dude. I'm glad we got you on, man. Give yourself a plug, Bert. Tell everybody about that's going to be hopefully listening to us. What you got going on right now? Where you're going to be? What to listen to? All that.
Oh yeah. I'm doing an Australian tour. That's the other thing. You'll find globally, your numbers go through the roof. You guys will be doing live podcasts in Australia in a year.
Oh, I'm in.
I'm doing an Australian tour in September. I'm going to Singapore on the 9th. I'm touring. I do my special, another special in February.
I'm getting
Bert, I'll be out on the East Coast.
Bert, I'm getting a Woody right now, just listening to you. All right, good stuff.
I love you guys. And I'm so happy you guys are doing this. Let me know when things drop. I'll always retweet it, repost it, and I'll do a read at the beginning of next week's podcast to talk about your podcast.
Bert, listen, man, we appreciate it. And listen, I'm serious when I say I want to take you up on that, because Goose and I do make it out to L.A., so when we do come out, I think we team up.
Fuck L.A., I'm going to Australia.
Yeah.
Jason's coming out L.A., I'm going to go to Australia. When are we leaving, bro? I'm in. I want to see a fucking great white shark.
Goose, I would love to have you in Australia. You shit me?
When are we going? Listen, I got to go to London for the Raven. I got to go do the Ravens Jackson.
We're going to Brisbane.
You going to London? I'm going to go do the NFL game in London. I got to go do that for Yahoo.
I'll book a show that week.
Yeah, let's go out there, man.
All right, well, listen,
Done, son.
we'll make plans, but Bert, thank you, buddy. And listen, I do want to take you up on your offer when you say you want to shepherd us. I listen, I'm all for it, right, Goose? I mean,
100%, Bert. Appreciate
listen,
all your help, bro.
We'll be calling you, Bert, some more. Trust me.
I got to get you guys on Rogan.
Hey, do they ever
Love to.
do adult toys, like, do they sponsor and shit like that? Like, I'm looking like to get some rabbits and like some
I'm
anal
surprised
beads
they
and
haven't
shit.
called. They got to call one the machine, right? You must have an adult toy out called the machine right now, right, Bert?
I'm telling you, that would be a great line.
All right, I'm going to get drunk. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later, buddy.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you, man.
Thanks. Yeah, he's a great guy.
That's
dude.
awesome. But Bert, listen, that's probably when it comes down to the shows, the one I remember the most, just because of how funny he was, but also how high his voice went.
Dude, and
when he got excited.
And he knew nothing about construction.
No,
whatsoever.
absolutely. But that's better. You know what's good about that is he admitted he didn't know anything about construction.
Yeah, it's bad enough when you go to someone's house and
they-
you're like,
yeah,
and you see that they have like new Stanley hammer.
Right.
You know, it's
never been used.
held.
Never been used. And they say, "Oh, I know." They claim to know everything there is to know, and I'm like, "No, dude, trust me. You're better off just
How
saying
about
you
when
don't
we were
know."
in Pennsylvania and I painted your hammer and you got all pissed?
Oh, I'm still pissed about that. Dude.
what
That's
happened?
Not, that's
What-
not bringing it up.
what-
What do you
you
mean?
ever-
What do you mean? What happened? That
you
was
ever
handed down to me. That was my hammer that was handed down to me from my father and his father.
No,
and you
it
had it
wasn't.
for
It
all.
was not.
Yeah, it was. And you had it all. You had it for
Bullshit.
30 seconds. And you painted it.
Listen, dude, it had friggin' it was what's that material that they make like cars out of? It was like I don't know, but it was there was definitely
Well,
not
obviously,
generational.
obviously, it didn't mean anything to you because you painted it. So
Why not
yeah,
paint it again?
That upset me a little bit, but that's all right. I got over it. That was good. Where was that, by the way?
That was like in Pennsylvania, like
No,
near
no, no,
Hershey.
no, no, no. You know what that was? And I could be mistaken, but that was up in the one we did up in Minnesota for the NBA.
Chris Humphreys.
Yes, that was Chris Humphreys. Remember
But that was the second time because he also painted your hammer in Pennsylvania as well.
Oh, shocking! He did it a couple times.
I got pictures
Yeah, thanks
of
for
his
reminding
toilet
me. Yeah.
where what was his wife's name? The fat
Kim
chick?
Kardashian.
Yeah, Kim
Kardashian.
Kardashian.
Yeah.
Big puckers. You ever see the puckers on her ass? Was that really her? Like I saw this magazine. I'm like, I just went and got some steaks
Listen.
over at the, I don't know if it was the Inquirer or something like that, but they had like, celebrities like, with makeup on and then celebrities with no makeup on.
Yeah.
Dude, her ass looked like a golf ball.
Listen,
It was so bad.
when we were in Madame Tussauds, do you remember walking through there? They had hers in one section. I think, to be honest with you, I think it was smaller than real life. I think they actually calmed it down a little bit on the. But anyway. Listen,
What else?
good stuff. First interview, actually. Congratulations.
Yeah, successful.
Way to go, Stu. You got it all
It only
worked
took
out.
you 40
It only
minutes to
took
get him
you
on
40
air.
minutes.
That was good. That was a
Make
nice
it work.
job.
And even then, we had to rig it the phone up to the
Yeah.
microphone, but that's all right.
Yeah, that was half-ass.
We'll get it all figured out.
That's the name of our podcast is Half-Ass.
That's it. Leave it to Goose.
Half-ass.
Leave it
And
to
our
Goose.
mascot is a donkey that we cut in half, and we just see all his like internal organs
Just
and
the
shit.
ass.
Yeah, just the ass.
Just the ass.
Yeah.
There you go.
Kim Kardashian. We'll just get her
Half-ass.
puckers. We'll have a segment called Puckers.
Fuckers.
What do you think? I like that.
Listen, man,
Half-ass.
we'll contemplate.
Half-assed.
I like it. Half-assed. All right. We'll see if anybody's using it.
All right, we'll get back to Bert and tell him that's our thing.
All right. I'll tell them. All
right.
right. Well, listen, guys. Good stuff. Goose will.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a shit.
Yeah. Take a shit.
I'm on antibiotics.
I'm gonna-
you ever take antibiotics?
I'm gonna go
do you
clean
get
you-
shits when you take antibiotics. I tell them like halfway through a Z-Pack.
All
Oh my
I
god!
know is I'm looking at your pill case in front of me here. It's filled. It's like, what do you got going on here?
This is Adderall.
Okay.
This is like for high blood pressure because they said I have blood pressure.
All right.
These are dick pills. These right here. This is
Can I borrow one?
yeah. Here you can have one.
Thanks, buddy.
Take one.
of
There.
those.
That's 100 mil. Watch, you get a headache.
Cut that.
This
half.
is for like when you eat cheese and shit. What's that called?
Oh, you're,
see, I didn't
lactose intolerant.
Lactose.
No. Like cholesterol.
Oh, your cholesterol.
Yeah, but I don't have cholesterol. But my cousin, he's a cardiologist. He said you should take 2 of these a week, and it'll prolong your life. These are opioids. This is what the government's going after right here.
That's it.
You hear them? Yeah, that's the opioids. That's the 5s and the 10s. And then this is a mixture. Anything that I don't really know what it is, I put it in here. Like, so that's like the Russian roulette thing that I was talking about.
Is that the official grab
I don't really
bag?
know what
It's
these
like-
are. They're blue. They're yellow. I
mis-
think these. Listen to me. I think this is a 40 milligram Valium.
It's the mystery container.
Dude, this is what Bert was talking about. Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you played in the NFL 12 years, you got to carry shit.
I many times, Goose. There were many times, specifically one time where you shot me in the hand with a framing gun. We'll talk about that in another podcast.
Yeah.
That's a whole story in itself. He still never apologized for it, by the way. But anyway,
that puts you on the map.
I remember. I remember though when you were a little nervous for me because you knew I was in pain.
Whose place were we doing?
Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah,
yes, thank you, Stu. That was Rainn
I
Wilson.
was not. I really didn't like him.
So anyway, I get back and
I didn't like him.
and just
he was going to like the Academy Awards or one of the award shows.
Yeah.
He's putting eyeliner on.
Yeah.
I go,
Golden Globes.
Dude, I walk in.
You were ready to leave,
dude. I go, dude, what's up? What are you doing? Oh, I'm just putting my makeup on. My eyeliner and eyeshadow and I go, dude, we're building you a man cave and you're doing fucking eyeliner on your. I go, listen. I walked out. I told Mike, who was our producer, who we have to call to. I just said, listen. This is fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah,
we're doing a man cave for a non-man.
We had a mutiny on our hands there. We had to pull you back in.
Horrible.
We had to pull you from the abyss. But listen, and in his defense, I mean, they all do it, dude. He's not the only one. What do you think?
Dude, how about California making us go? We got to hire a guy. Listen to this. How fucked up this is.
I'll finish my story.
We
when
do
you're
this.
Done. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We do this show, right? And before we start, we have to hire somebody from California to guard the trees. Do you remember that?
Man, do I remember that? Yeah.
Like these certain trees, and the guy sat in a lawn chair and guarded the tree so he didn't touch the tree, which was like 100 feet away from us.
So this is the crazy thing, and Goose is right. California is a whole world unto itself, right? Especially when it comes to protecting the environment. So we're doing Rainn Wilson's man cave. We built this thing from the ground up, and the municipality had a issue.
Bunch of assholes
yeah,
they were.
They had an issue with the oak trees that were near the build site that they were worried about. So we literally
we're talking about the closest one was 20 yards?
That's about 12, maybe 12 yards away.
20, 12.
All right, so some.
Sorry,
but
James, I was 8 yards off. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll forgive you.
Finish your story.
We'll forgive you. But listen, the reason I know this.
Is that my wife over there?
The reason I know this is because I'm as amazed as you are, right? So I'm sitting there going, we got to. First of all, hold on. We got to pay somebody to come in to watch the tree.
Yeah,
we
that's part of our budget.
literally have somebody sitting, an arborist sitting in a chair, reading a book, watching the tree.
I thought New Jersey was corrupt until I went to California and I saw this guy. His name's like Bill. Hey, Bill, what's going on, man? What are you doing? I'm guarding the tree. You're what? I'm guarding. So no one goes near the, doesn't
touch the tree. Yeah.
You want to talk about, and then they give all my people like hard times down at the docks and shit like that.
I'm in the wrong business.
I want that fucking job.
I want that job. I want that job where I can sit and watch a tree and just read a book and look up at the tree every now and then.
Do you have to make a report like, an acorn fell?
Yeah.
There was an acorn at 3:27.
3 p.m. Squirrel crawls up tree.
Yeah. The squirrel scratched the tree. We should get the exterminator. I wanted to punch that guy right in the face. Listen, you don't know what it took because he left early one day.
Dude.
I was going to get an axe and just put like a half of like, how like you just like you're getting ready to chop a tree down. Just a half, a little bit like a V in the side of the guy would have came back and had like a fucking heart attack or something like that. That would have been the funnest. Listen, or a chainsaw. Dude, I wanted to fucking. I couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable.
This is a true story.
Yeah, yeah. We're not making this up, by the way. If you've never been to California, you're trying to build something in California. That's a whole other world.
This is good stuff. You know why? Because everybody sees man caves or television show, and I'm like, sometimes I'll be with my wife or my kid. I'm like, I can't watch this. So why that? What happens behind the scenes is just I know what these people are going through right now, and that's some of the stuff that we had to go through. It was like
it's a whole different.
What? Yeah, getting being held, all of our equipment being held hostage over in Kuwait. Yeah. We had a guy that we had to pay like $600 a day to look to sit in front of a tree.
$600 a day, $600 an hour.
Dude, it was like ridiculous. Honest to God, I'm like, who's your, what's your uncle's name? The guy wasn't even Italian. It wasn't even like the mob. It's unbelievable. I want to go out there. I wonder if there's a union for tree watchers.
Probably.
Dude, I can start the new union. Yeah, what do you guys do? We watch trees.
We protect.
We're
trees.
local. We're local. 622.
We're legitimate tree huggers. We're the legitimate tree huggers.
You don't have to hug them. You don't have to hug them.
You have to hug them. They got away from hugging them, and now they just watch them.
Dude, I'm telling you.
There's no more hugging.
They could have different divisions.
Yeah, we'll get a 401k. We'll get the whole shit going.
Different divisions. Today you're in the tree hugger.
And then Rainn Wilson can go put his eyeliner on. Goofball.
But anyway,
I watch trees, but I moved up to guarding trees.
To guarding trees. Yeah, I moved up. I'm on my way up.
I'm the shop steward. I'm the tree watch patrol. What? What are you doing? can't take it anymore. I want to fucking kill somebody.
Now
You got me all riled up.
I know, dude, you are. But where did I leave off? Because I was telling
Who
a
cares?
story.
No,
I know.
talking about the troops.
You don't, obviously.
I thought
but
you were
somebody-
giving us an out.
No,
You were closing it up.
What I was getting to is getting back to the pills in front of you.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Goose, and I was in pain because after he shot me in the hand with the framing gun, I was in pain. So I went to him, and he goes, "What do you need?" And he pulls out this bag, and it's the biggest bag I've ever seen. And he had pretty much every pill you could think of in this bag. And he goes, "Take 2 of these."
How good you feel?
Dude, out.
I could have shot your
my
other hand.
God.
You would have been happy.
Yeah, you could have shot my arm anywhere, and I wouldn't have felt
know.
it. Thank you for the for
That's
whatever
in my-
that was you gave me.
That's
Thank
in the
you for
other
that.
sleeve of pill lineup.
Anyway, go take your shit. All right, I'm gonna go clean up after your dog. So thanks for joining us, everybody. That was good stuff.
Nice stuff. Thanks, Bert.